You are live. Looks like, yeah, it's live now, I think. Let me make a final check. Yes, yeah, works.
Cool.
Sweet. Nice, man. So yeah, as I said before, I have a first introduction first, which is like a crash course. Yeah, the cool thing is I made the whole presentation on Framer as a prototype to keep things simple as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, the topic is onboarding or first-time user experience. Have you ever heard the term first-time user experience? The FAQs?
No, I can't say I have. Not first time.
FUX, yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is a common term that you can find in the design world as well. Just, yeah, so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, the first thing is what's the goal of onboarding? On this one, what would you answer from your experience?
Okay, I guess you want to get the user to be, I don't know, get them familiar with your product, why it's useful, and also get them set up. So go through like the main steps of like installing the app or setting up some config or stuff like that. So trying to do that as easy as possible. And then I guess trying to get them to see the bigger picture as quick as possible. So like do some action that helps them, realize the benefit of the product, something like that. That's what I would
say. Exactly. Yes. Especially the last part that you said, the whole goal of onboarding is actually to make users go from I'm listening to I'm getting it. This is a nice quote that I found from Samuel that has built the useronboard.com, which is a great resource. And the whole idea is I'm listening is the marketing website where you talk to the users and try to sell an idea. And I'm getting it is when they start using the product and they realize, okay, this is how it works. That's how I get value from it. Yeah, how you do that is what you said, is by guiding them to use your product and get the value they're looking for. And a good question to ask on this point is, why do people buy products? What would you answer on this?
Sorry, what's the question? Sorry,
why do people buy products in general? What would be a simple answer to that?
Solve their problems would be the simplest, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And the idea is to get a job done and make progress. And in our case, the pandasnap is the job to be done for them is to save their favorite designs from websites and products they find online and they love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Definitely.
Yeah, at this point, it's pretty useful to describe some common UX patterns when it comes to onboarding. I did a bit of research, like there are a ton of ways to onboard a user, but there are some like common practices in the design world that you can find in popular SaaS products or mobile apps. The first one is video demos. Mm-hmm. A great example is if you sign up for framer.com, for example, the tool that we use as well. They have a really nice video with specific timestamps that you can go through. And it's a full demo of the product that helps you to get started.
Okay, cool.
Then you have the product walkthrough tour, which is also super common. It's when you show the product UI and you have an overlay on top of it, and then you highlight specific areas and add some tooltips, which is like a guided step-by-step process. Then you have the checklists, which is very common as well. This is a screenshot from Quora, for example. You can find it in many products as well. And the last one, not the last one, one before, is the demo data with templates and examples. And this one, a very good example, actually one of my favorite ones, is the Airtable. With Airtable, when you create a new base, spreadsheet, whatever, you can call it however you want, they have the option to start with a template. And then you can pick, for example, let's say I want to create a new base for scheduling content for my social media accounts. They have a content calendar template that you actually install, and then you have a full demo. Like, you have the data, you have the configuration, you have everything. So you can really understand, okay, this is what I can achieve with this product. It makes it super clear. For tools like Airtable or Notion, templates is a must-have. And for Framer as well, they have something like templates. They have UI kits, they have examples, tutorials. So it's like a combination to get the same outcome in the end for the user. And the last pattern is the empty states. It's not really a pattern, it's something that all the apps have. So empty states is a really crucial part of the onboarding process design. Yeah, the empty state is pretty simple, just when your app doesn't have any data. So in our case, when there are no screenshots. A good question to ask is if onboarding is a one-time thing. What would you say on this? Yes or no?
I guess I'd probably say no. So I'd probably say like it would be each feature or each like new part of the app would have its own sort of onboard flow.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you start the app, obviously there's an onboarding, but then when you, let's say, add a new, I don't know, there's like some other mini product within the product maybe.
Yeah,
and then that would have its own like onboarding flow, I think.
Yeah, that's the right answer. The whole idea is that it's not a one-time thing, and actually onboarding happens every time a user interacts with something new that you shipped on production. And that's a really good mental model to have. Whenever you bring something new to the users, it's really important to help them understand what's the benefit of this and how they should use it as well. So onboarding is not something, because I've seen it in many companies that they think that, yeah, we should work on the user onboarding and make sure that they have a smooth flow when they sign up. User onboarding is not only about signing up. That's the most common, way to have, the common case of onboarding in general, but there are way more than this. So yeah, for our case, the process that we're gonna follow is first, we have to define the user goal. So why did people sign up and what's the whole goal of the onboarding design that we're gonna work on? Then we can review the existing onboarding flow and start prototyping a new one and user test it. Of course, this is not gonna happen just in one session, but it's more of the process that we're gonna follow in order to make the onboarding, get the onboarding right and make sure it's very easy to use. So cool. The first one for the goal, I already did it before the session. And yeah, it's super simple. It just save a great, a cool design they found online. That's all. That's why I want pandasnap. For me as a designer, for example, when Apple releases something, because I'm a big Apple fanboy and I really love their UI style, I always go to the website and start taking screenshots. For example, they have really nice, I added some today in pandasnap for text gradients they have, or very nice UI compositions with renders of their products and so on. So the whole goal is to just save a cool design I found online and categorize it as well. But for now, let's stick to the save part.
Okay, cool.
So the user goal is defined, and what we could do is go through, pandasnap, sign up, and do a bit of user testing. I don't know if we discussed this before. For the user testing, there is one, I think it's called methodology. It's called thinking out loud. And the idea is I just use the product and think out loud. Nothing complex. You don't really have to observe where I look or where I look and all these kind of small details about when it comes to the interaction with the website. The only thing that we care at this point is to just get access in a way to my mind, just see what I think, how I feel, and what do I miss from the landing page. It's the most common pattern of way to do user testing, and it's also one of the most productive and efficient ones as well, because it's simple and very powerful.
Yeah, I love them. They're super, I don't know. Watching someone use the product is like so different from developing it. Or at least thinking how they would use it, you know? I always see like a little little things.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I had the same in Tickets Up. Every time when we would do user testing, it was like a new enlightening moment for me. I was like, oh, it just feels that you grow as a product maker every time you do a user testing session, that you become a wiser person in a way. I cannot really describe it, but it's a really unique feeling that I get as well. It's super enlightening. And what I don't like with usability testing in general is that if you start researching online how to do usability testing and so on, they have all these kind of methodologies and they get super crazy, the diary studies and all this stuff. And the problem is that they're cool, but they can only be applied on large scale companies, on big companies where they have a team of UX researchers, a big budget to invest and so on. So the think out loud process is super efficient and easy to use for us that we're just a solo person building stuff online. So yeah, let's give it a try and see how it goes. So yeah,
Cool.
I'm already a bit aware of the product because yeah, we had already 2 sessions and discussing about the landing page and so on. So I'm a bit familiar already with the idea, and we can skip the marketing website. So I'm just gonna go and sign up immediately. Get started. Team. Yeah, I'm gonna use my cloud. Sign up. Yeah, that's not good. The data breach, yeah, whatever.
It doesn't what?
No, it's just that I have this password was used in another service, and that service had a data leak, and Chrome just informed me that hey, you should change your password; it's not safe anymore.
Oh, true.
So yeah, that's good to know. But yeah, we don't care at this point. So I signed up and I land on this page. You haven't taken Snap yet? Get the extension for the best experience, or add the Snap now. Search something, add something, and then the avatar with home settings and logout. Okay. The Snap is not, I'm not very familiar yet with what Snap means as a term. It's a, I don't know if it's a common term that I'm not aware of, or is it something that you came up in the product? Is it common or not?
I guess it's kind of like a synonym for photo or something. So like you can take a screenshot or a snapshot. When you take a photo, you can snap a photo. It's kind of like like a word like that, to take a photo or some kind of shot like that.
Okay. So it's more of a, yeah, I see. Snapshot is a common term, especially in the engineering world, with the VM snapshots and stuff.
Oh yeah. It's taking like a picture of something, like a snapshot. Yeah,
exactly.
It's capturing data, I guess, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Do you find it confusing though? I guess
it's not that I'm blocked. I get a bit the idea of what the snap is, but it's not super clear as well. But I don't think it's a problem for now. A bit something that is a bit weird is I see search something and add immediately, and then I have 2 extension buttons and or add a snap now. So first I have to get used to the idea of what a snap is. It would be nice maybe to even describe it at this point. I'm not sure, but yeah, we can take a note on this and try to work on it on the design and see if it makes sense. That's one thing. And the other one is that the UI is a bit crowded at this point. I signed up and my goal, that's why I always start with a user goal. It's very important to really use it as a North Star of our design. The user goal is to save a cool design I found online. I probably, if we want to make the user testing more realistic, I'm searching, I have many screenshots on saved on my computer, like on my desktop in a folder. That's what I have actually right now. And I want to find a service to actually upload them and have easy access to them from many devices, be able to add the new visuals here there from other devices as well, and categorize them as well to make the access easier. So that's the main reason that I signed up. That's the reason that I signed up, and that's what I'm trying to achieve.
Okay.
So at this point, the search, something, and add icon do not really make sense. I think hiding them even would be better. But as a note for now to work on later, I would say that these UI elements, these two, do not really add any value. So when it comes to the onboarding, they're useless at this point. Only this button is useful, but you already have it in the format of those three call to actions.
Okay, good point.
So you haven't taken Snap yet? Yeah, I think it should be a Snap, but yeah, no worries. Get the extension for the best experience. You say get the extension for the best experience, but I don't understand what it means, best experience. Why I should do that? I wouldn't say advanced user, but I'm a tech savvy person. So it's super clear for me that, yeah, I even have the extension. Probably I'm just going to take screenshots with the extension instead of taking a screenshot, having a file, and then uploading it to pandasnap. So reiterating on the copy to make it more explicit what it means, what's the value that I get by installing the extension, that would be nice.
Okay.
So Chrome extension, Firefox extension. I'm going to go for the extension because that's how I believe, that's how I'm going to get the best experience. That's what I want at this point. Okay. I see 5 stars rating, which is good. Are you still there, or? Check.
Are we back? Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Sorry. Not sure.
Yeah, no worries. I saw, yeah, that you have 5 stars rating, which is cool, and 107 users. So it adds some credibility as well. While I'm going to install the extension, read data on all pandasnap sites, display notifications, modify data, manage your downloads. Okay, sounds good. Welcome, pandasnapper. Welcome, team. Okay, the first thing is that this screen is very crowded. I don't really know what to look at first. First, I see welcome, team. Okay, so it knows it's connected to the account that I have because it knows my name, view snaps, playground, feedback lookout, change accessory shortcut. For me, it's very weird to have all these call to actions because at this point, the only thing that I'm trying now is to add a snap. That's to add a screenshot on pandasnap. That's my goal, and that's what I'm trying to achieve. And at this point, I have 4 call to actions, 5 actually, that are not related to it at all.
Yeah, good point.
I get where you come from, building this product that probably this is a standard page of the extension that you see whenever you open the extension, but yeah, it's always this thing. When you build it and when you test it, it's two different different words, 2 different kind of perceptions on the product. So yeah, during the onboarding, it's really weird to see 5 call to actions that are not related to my goal. It feels actually that I got lost, that I clicked somewhere that I shouldn't click, and I ended up on a page that is not for what I'm trying to achieve. Then I see quick start guide, and I see 3 steps, 3 blocks: pin the extension, how to snap, and take your first snap. Pin the extension, Chrome hides the extension by default. Find it here and pin it for quick and easy access. Find it here, what it means. I mean, here where, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah, I guess I was referring to the photo. But yeah, that's a good point. I could change the copy of it.
Then how to snap, find the page you like, click the browser icon, snap and save. No, it doesn't work here, only on real websites. Take your first snap. Want to try pandasnap right now? Visit playground. I see playground, so that's another thing. I don't know what is the playground. This is a new term. It's a product terminology. It's not like if you could say go to the homepage, it's super clear and all websites have a homepage. But the playground, I have no clue what it is. I'm just gonna click out of curiosity to see what it is. And okay, that's a new page where I see welcome to the playground, learn about pandasnap and try out the features right here. Yeah, that's a lot of content as well. So let's not focus on this point. Yeah, I think this page really makes me feel lost because I don't know what's the next step. Like, where should I click to go to the next step and reach the end goal, which is to add a screenshot on pandasnap. And also with the last step has a call to action that redirects me to a page with lots of content, which is some kind of educational page, like a user guide, actually, on the product. So there are
It's
many
same,
call
right?
to actions. What's really?
No, I was saying, well, just thinking now, it's like, it's almost the same content, but on like a different page. So it is confusing. Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, that's true. So in this case, how should I continue? Let me think. Few snaps. Okay, first I should pin the extension because that's the only way to use it. Find here and pin for quick and easy access. Let me take also a screenshot of the page to have it for a quick reference later when we will start designing. Okay. Use now playground feedback lookout. Okay, pin the extension. To be honest, I have no clue how to pin the extension, but probably, okay, what is here? Extensions. Access requested. Okay, light paint. Nice. How to snap. Yeah, probably what I'm gonna do actually is I'm just gonna start using the extension. Yeah, it doesn't work here, as you said.
So when you do that, do you get a notification?
No, but that would be a really good thing to do on a UX level. On every action in the UX, there is a general rule that every action should provide feedback. So if this doesn't work on this page, it would be nice to get some kind of notification close to here, like a small overlay here that, hey, you cannot take a snap on this page.
Yeah, so that should be working, but
okay,
it sometimes doesn't, and I'm not sure why yet. But
okay, that's good to know. Then we have snap element, view snap, snap page, snap visible source code. So let me check. Let's close some tabs. I have configured my extension. It works. And I still see this when I go to the dashboard. Here, what would make sense is, I don't know if there is any way for you to know that I installed the extension, but it would be nice to actually update the UI now that I took the steps, because you still suggest me, hey, Jim, go and install the Chrome extension, but I already did it, and you still ask me to do the same thing. So what would make sense here is to have a success state where you tell me, hey, Jim, great that you installed, let's say, the extension. Now it's time to add a snap. So just open a website and use the extension, take a snap, and it will show up here, something like that. What would make sense is to actually have a success state, because I completed part of the onboarding flow, and it would make sense to get feedback for that. So let's go to, I don't know, let's go to hey.com website, which is a pretty cool marketing website. And I really love their intro section, the homepage, and I'm gonna take a snap. I see snap element, view snaps, snap page, visible, and source code. Snap page probably is full page. If this is the case, it would make sense to have the word full, because that's the whole point, that you get the whole page. Snap visible is probably the viewport, what I see, the visible part of the website. Source code, I have no clue what it is, and it's the first time that I hear that you can snap code. Probably you take a snapshot of the current version of the HTML code of the homepage, something like that. Then snap element and view snaps. View snaps works as expected. It just shows me opens the pandasnap. The snap element is click a specific element or click and drag and drop to crop a custom area. Okay, that's cool. That's interesting, man. Nice. Yeah, that's something that's pretty unique because I've used similar tools in the past, and you always have either the visible part or the full page. You never have the more custom controls. So it's nice to actually provide this. Nice. I really like a bit irrelevant, but yeah, just think out loud, as we said.
Yeah.
I really like the buttons and the UI that you have. It's a bit playful and bold as well, so it's easier to recognize on a UI level. It's not super minimal or anything, just as much clearer as it should. So
That's good.
I draw an area and I have 5 call to actions. This one probably cancels. Okay.
Do you see like a little hover tags when you hover over those?
What if I see?
So like, because they're icons, and like, obviously the cross is kind of clear, but like the one next to it, how do you like hover over them? Like, how do you find out what that is? How would you do that?
I
It's
could
usually-
hover and wait, actually,
Okay.
by hovering. I would ideally, if we discuss about solutions, I would add the tooltip here describing what the call to action is for the first time use of this specific feature. That's where the onboarding is an ongoing thing comes into place, is that these buttons, I may take a snap, but I haven't used these call to actions. So until I use them, it makes sense to always show me a tooltip on hover. Once I've used this and I know how it works, it makes sense to not show the tooltip anymore. But until I become active, an active user of this feature, it would make sense to have it. Snip and rec. Rec probably is record a video, so it's a video recording of the website. And the snip, I see the source code icon, so I guess it's something related to code. But again, it's just a guess. For this case, I'm just gonna take a snap. Nice. Hey.com intro section, end of the tags. I'm just gonna add marketing website. Here I see paste, no, copy. Isn't it the paste icon or copy? Maybe I'm confused, whatever, no worries.
You could be right, actually, it could be the paste.
Okay, this one is download, probably I download the file locally, and then instant save, I have no clue what it is. If I click, I see a new tab, unlock premium features. Save source code, video snaps, code snippet. Free users must wait for images to upload. Okay, instant snap has to do with the if you wait for the image to be saved. What I thought before I click, to be honest, is that once I click snap, that I can save it immediately without having to add titles and tags and stuff. But on the other hand, it doesn't really make sense because how can you categorize it if I don't add the tag? But yeah, the instant, for some reason, made me feel this way. And it feels a bit weird to have a premium feature where I don't, it's like pay to have better UX in a way. You know what I mean? Like UX-wise, it would make sense to have some kind of asynchronous uploading where I click save and then the image gets uploaded on the background. So for me, it's a bit weird to have a premium feature that is about having a better UX where I'm not blocked by the saving functionality.
Okay, good to know. Also, I have a question. So you don't have like the title and the tags. They're not actually mandatory. So you don't have to put anything in there. You can just snap and then save it really quick. Is that clear or how? Yeah, I don't know.
Let me check.
Do you feel like it's when you use it the first time, you feel like, okay, now I have to put a title in, I have to tag it?
That's a good one. To be honest, if I'm super bored of writing anything, I could just click save and I could figure out. So I would say that yes. And it's good that you don't say anything, in my opinion, because it forced me in a way that, hey, Tim, it's good to tidy up a bit. Like it's good to keep your collection a bit organized and not just have random titles and no tags, because in the end, it's like the technical debt. Sometime I will have to do the work and really categorize them. So I think the way that you have it right now is really cool. You're not forcing everybody to add something, but you don't make it like, hey, this is optional, you don't really have to do it or anything. So I think it's very balanced the way you have it.
Cool.
So I took some snaps and I'm refreshing pandasnap.io, and here we are. I see 2 snaps. Now the search anything and plus makes sense. We can discuss on another session about the search bar and how we can improve it, but for now it's very clear. I see snaps, I see a plus icon, so probably it's add a snap. There's nothing else to add in this UI. And then I see a search bar to search the snaps. Okay, here's the first one. I see that you saved the URL. So this is a bit out of topic, but it's something that I want to refer to. I saw on the marketing website that you also save the URLs. And this is a unique feature that you provide in the way that I see it. It's just something that I didn't see anywhere else. And I was always worrying when I had to screenshot everything, save the files, and then upload them to a tool. I always had to add manually the website. And for me, I cannot remember every single screenshot from which website it is. The only way to do it is to add the brand name, the website name in the title. So that's something that is really good for productivity for me, to make sure that you save the URLs. And that's something that I would like to see when I take a snap, probably, because that's how I'm aware that, hey, this is also saved. So far, I had no clue. Only once I try to access it, I see it. So it would be nice to just have a small note that, hey, we also save the URL, and this is the URL that we're saving.
Okay, yeah, interesting. Do you think it would be useful to edit the URL before you save it? Or like,
could be.
Is that something you? Yeah, I don't know. Like when I bookmark stuff, sometimes I do edit the URL. But
it's always good to give me some freedom as long as I need it. In this case, I cannot think of any reason that I would edit the URL because it's the URL of the page that I took the screenshot. That's the whole idea. But it would be nice to just have it. The way that I could do it on a design level is that I could have a text field, not a text field, sorry. I could have the URL in line with a tiny text call to action edit. So it's like, we have the URL. If you really want to change it, here's the link to do it. And I wouldn't have it as an input field where you just pre-fill it, because it really feels, if it's this way, it really feels that I have to edit it somehow.
Okay.
So yeah, I would keep it simpler. Okay, so yeah, the goal has been achieved. We added some snaps. We did it.
Cool.
I think the most...
Sorry?
Yeah, actually, what do you think so far? How do you feel like from the feedback that I came up with during the test?
No, I think you're totally, well, yeah, totally right. Like the way things don't make sense when you're first using it, like the search bar and stuff like that. Things are a little crowded on the extension. And yeah, like a lot of that could be improved for sure.
Nice.
Do you think at this point, so now that you've taken some snaps, like you want to have like a success, well, I don't know, some kind of congratulation thing, because that's usually quite common too, right? Like you do the first action and then you're praised for it, and then I don't know, I'd rather it gives you like that dopamine hit and then makes you happy that you've achieved something.
I mean, it's always nice to have some kind of celebration that, hey, you did it, you added your first snap. But yeah, I personally don't really care, because in your case, it's always nice to create some kind of happy moments in the product. But in this case, for me, pandasnap is a productivity tool. So I want it to take as much less time as possible for me. That's why I use pandasnap, in order to save time, save the designs, organize them without spending a lot of time, and just, yeah, keeping things simple. So I wouldn't really bother to do that. It would be cool to make it more branded, but I don't think it's a priority, let's say, for now.
Okay.
Or anything like that. Give me 1 second to... Okay, nice. So we are done with the user testing. You took some notes during the test, right?
Yeah, heaps of notes.
Okay, perfect. So we have also the screenshot of the current flow of the screen that was mainly the most problematic one. So we actually have let's use this artboard size. The steps to get the product to take a snap is first sign up. The sign up was pretty cool and easy. I didn't have to do anything. It's nice that I didn't have to sign up and then log in and so on. Just filled in my details and went straight to the dashboard. So I don't see any issue there as a user. And the first screen that I interacted with was the empty state. So let's delete the ones that we have in order to take a screenshot of the empty state. Did we discuss in our previous session about the prototyping process?
Yeah, we did briefly, I think.
Okay. So yeah, the idea is that we're gonna design a dirty kind of prototype. We don't care about the UI details and having the colors and everything. We're gonna use just the default UI kit from Framer, where we don't have to worry about what font size should we have, what colors or anything. So we really use the UI kit as if we were building a wireframe style of prototype. The UI is not something we care about at this point. We only care about the content and the information that we show.
Mm-hmm.
So the screens that we have is first the empty screen, the empty state, and then the extension screen. So we click on Chrome extension, you go to the store, you install it, and then you land here. And then you have to open the website on my own as well. So what I would say as a first step is let's try to iterate a bit on the empty state.
Okay.
For this one, let's replicate quickly the toolbar. Let me see if we already have a component for that or not. Controls. Yeah, we can just make a fake one quickly. Logo. And then the account dropdown.
So I already know the answer to this, but maybe for anyone watching, I guess a good question is like, why use Framer? So like when I first saw Framer, it was like I thought it was a design tool like Photoshop, right? But you've shown me it's like a lot more than that. Like you can actually create.
Yeah, that's a good question actually. Yeah, why Framer? Okay, that's a tricky question. There are multiple reasons. Of course, it's a personal preference, but the options actually that you have is Figma, Framer, Sketch, or Adobe XD. Sketch is really cool, but it's a native app and it's a bit behind its competitors in terms of features. So, for example, the collaboration on Framer, you can also jump into the design tool and then you can see two cursors moving around and we can design together. So it's not, they haven't made the progress that Figma and Framer have done. That's the one option for skates. One of the reasons for not using skates. Then we have Figma. When it comes to Figma, it's really cool. It's actually very powerful, like Framer as well. But Framer, imagine that it's Figma, but better, like with more things, with more features on it. The cool thing with Framer is that, especially for us that we're developers, is that you can run code components. So you can go, for example, here to code, and let's use some of the examples and start using code components. I can write some TypeScript in the design tool, add some props and everything, and then use this component called controls in the design area. So this is the component, and if I preview it, yeah, it actually works. It renders as expected. And why this component was built is to show how the props work, like that I made a control, like I exposed the prop on the React level called radius, and you can see that it's fully customizable. So with Framer, you can get really crazy if you want to, or you can use it as Photoshop as well if you want, like for UI design. So what I like with Framer is that it's web-based, it's easy to use, it's free for solo makers like us because we don't need many projects, teams, and all this complicated stuff. And it's also closer to the mindset of developers. The problem that Framer mainly has, challenge, not really a problem, is how can we bring designers with no code knowledge to use this tool? But for developers, imagine that if you use for pandasnap a React design system, you can actually plug it in Framer and use with the production design code components. So you can get crazy stuff over here. And that's what I personally love, is that it feels like using something that is 5 or 10 years ahead in a way. And when it comes to Adobe XD, I haven't used it. Yeah, it may sound a bit weird, but I'm not an Adobe fan, so I don't really like their products and their UX. I know that Adobe XD is pretty powerful as well, but I really believe into the Framer vision. Like I've been an early adopter of their product. I've been using it from the first days, and they really have a strong vision, and they have made huge iterations going from desktop to web and many other things in order to get there. And also their founding team is like us. I've met both of them, and they really have the indie hackers mentality. It's not like it doesn't feel like a big corporation. That's what I'm trying to say. Like Adobe. With Adobe, if you have to talk to support, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's cool. I didn't realize that you could put actual code in there. I thought it was just like a design.
You can do crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And it's something that I want to go deeper as well. And we could do even sessions on these, on how you can make UI animations with Framer just by writing 10 lines of code. You can really do whatever you want. You can build prototypes that communicate with each other with WebSockets, because it's in the end of the day, it's just React code. All the pre-made components that we use over here as well are just React code. For example, the frame is just a div. It's just a container of HTML elements. That's all it does.
Gotcha.
So yeah, for me as a developer, I think it's super cool to be able to use just the basics of Framer, visualize your ideas, prototype them, and even go crazy if you want, because it's way faster than writing code, because you don't have to maintain everything, and the starting point is not the same as starting from a white page where you have to install JavaScript, install everything, like all the libraries, configure your Webpack, whatever you use, and so on. So yeah, here it's just plug and play style, which is really cool. So yeah, for the empty state, I see we have around 15 more minutes. So let's start working on the empty state and see where it goes. Yeah, first of all, I just replicated the header to have something for now. And then we're gonna discuss about the content. So the user journey, like that we are working on, is first I signed up, and now I see this screen where where you have to, where I'm gonna be asked to install the plugin, because that's the only way to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have, here is gonna be the content. Let's add a container to make it visually more clear visually. And then right now you say you haven't taken and snap yet. Get the extension for the best experience. Let's actually use a component for text. And then you have two call to actions. And a text call to action. Actually, before we start designing it, let me give it a try, this one, or at least not now. So here, another thing that I want to tell you when it comes to the user testing feedback is add a snap now. Why should I use the extension instead of just doing it now? So the add snap now is a bit contradictory to what you're trying to do here. You de-emphasize this call to action so that people won't go with this option because you want to install the plugin and really use the product the right way. So I would drop the now, I would change it to something like, or add the snap manually or something like that. We can figure out what's the best.
Okay. Yeah, I guess my thinking was, like you said, you have like a lot of screenshots like saved locally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes people want to upload kind of some local screenshots instead of the extension. So I guess it was an attempt to do that, but no, you're right, it is a bit confusing. So would you say remove that then?
What? Sorry?
Would you say remove that like a secondary call to action?
No, I wouldn't say remove, because it's actually, there are two ways to add a snap, either through the extension or upload the local file. So what I would say is just upload a file or something like that. Upload a file, not manually, just upload a file, because it's something that I actually need at some point. If I have many snaps, or if I'm migrating, that's also, okay, that's very interesting that I didn't think, that I didn't refer to. A part of onboarding, of starting using the product, is migration. So in order to switch to pandasnap, I want to migrate all the existing screenshots that I have. In my case, I have them locally in a folder, so it would make sense to help me migrate my existing content.
Mm-hmm.
So let's add the note for this one. Sign up, install extension. So let's try to think with a kind of more like a fresher approach on this one. Let's try to not be biased from what is there at this point. And that's something super hard when you design. Once you have something, it's really hard to get your mind to think in a different way and forget what is there and think in a totally fresh way. That's where user testing comes from. It really gives you a fresh and totally new perspective on the UI that you have built. But yeah, let's try to do it now as well. Okay. What I've been thinking is, for the call to actions, there are two ways to add a snap, either the extension or the manual upload. When should I use each one? The extension, well, actually, you can reply. Yeah, always.
Okay. Yeah, I guess the manual upload is for local files that you've saved already. I guess that was the idea, to do that. But the extension would be the primary way. So when you're browsing, it's kind of like a bookmark, but of the designs, I guess. So like as you browse, the extension is there to kind of just be available. So you see a cool design, take a snap, and then you go on with your day. And then the upload is like, yeah, kind of part of that migration onboarding, I guess you could say. So when would you do it? Was that the question?
Yeah,
when?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you replied, you answered the question. The answer is, I would use the upload a file functionality if I already had a screenshot. In this case, it's probably the migration part of the user journey. It's not something, if I use pandasnap, there is no reason to always take screenshots. Sometimes it may happen, but as you said, the primary way to use the product is the extension. So let's first focus on the text. You haven't taken any snaps yet. Get the extension for the best experience. You haven't taken any. For this one, instead of you haven't taken any snaps yet, I would change it to your snaps will show up here. Something like that. There is more positive here. It feels like, yeah, you haven't taken any snaps. Like it's a bit, it has some kind of negative vibe. Snaps will show up here. Let's write some temporary copy, and of course we iterate along the way. So here, okay. So we explain that, hey, this is where you will see your snaps, and then these are the ways to get started.
There was another thing you mentioned, which was to explain, I guess, what snap meant, potentially. And do you think it's worth explaining the benefit of the extension here too?
Yeah, that's a good one. Let me think. Let's see, what was the website content? Let me check quickly on the homepage. Design faster by snapping website designs that inspire you. Snap designs you care about. Snap. I would say, because I'm not 100% sure, as a designer, let's say, if snaps is not clear enough, I would say let's keep it as it is. And when we do the user testing, we can see if it's indeed a problem, because we're going to introduce more complexity on the UI level to explain it. Unless if we can find a way to rephrase it, we could say screenshots, but it's not only screenshots. You also have videos, source code, and so on. So we need this kind of more abstract term in the product that and call them snaps. So I would say let's just keep it as it is for now.
Okay.
Or we could say that content that you snap will show up here. We could say something like that. Any content that you snap will show up here. So the content makes it more, or any design actually, because that's here it's very important to be aligned with the marketing website, because on the website you say, yeah, I'm not sure if I can
designs,
see the homepage. No. Yeah, you say, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, on the website, let me go on incognito mode to take a look. You say design faster by snapping website designs that inspire you. So in this case, it makes sense to use the word designs.
Yeah, good point.
Even any website designs to make it super consistent, very consistent. So that's the confirmation that, hey, here you will see your snaps. It's also, the UI is very simple. There's nothing else to look at, so we don't need to add more visual elements to describe that snaps will show up there. It's nice to have to reuse the icon. I'm just gonna add the, oh, what happened? I'm sorry. My bad, 1 sec.
Do you feel like if it's so simple, it's boring? Or do you think users don't care about that so much? Like
That's a really good question. I don't believe that a simple UI is boring. That's a thing that I was thinking as well that I would worry about as well in the past. But this thing doesn't really exist. Like boring is not really a thing. Like if it's clear enough and I have a clear call to action to click, I don't really care about having confettis and stuff. Actually, the more visual elements you have, the more information I have to process as a user and the more mental energy I'm gonna consume for your product. So the less energy and time you ask for me, the better it is. So a boring UI is actually a better UI, the way that I see it, because it's easier to use. For me, it's super cool in pandasnap that you just have this. There is no navigation menu. You just have here the settings and the logout. It's very simple. There are not many pages to discover or a complex sitemap to understand and process. And also removing this part, as we discussed, makes it even simpler. So I just see here, okay, snaps will show up here. Click this button to add your first one. Super clear. And again, what I said before, it's a productivity tool. So it's very important to keep things simple.
Okay, good point.
And take the least amount of time as possible. Any website designs that you snap. Okay. And then we provide them 2 call to actions. Either use the extension or upload a file.
Do you think
why
should kind of sorry?
Yeah, go for it.
I was going to ask, yeah, maybe you could rephrase, or we could rephrase the second call to action, like ask them the question, like, do you have local files? Would that make sense? So instead of adding a snap, it's like explain to them a step if they want to migrate. It's kind of like adding a step if they want it. So instead of adding a snap now, it's like, do you have local files you want to add? Something like that. Would that be a better way to phrase it?
It could be, but I think the product is simple enough to go for this approach. Like it would make sense if you had many paths you could follow as a user, and then you ask them some questions that, hey, okay, which path should you follow to figure out this answer? This is something that products like Airtable does. For example, the Airtable, because it's like Notion, it's a very powerful tool. What you said is called personalization in UX. So you try to personalize the experience of the user according to what they're trying to achieve, because your product can have many use cases, and that's where personalization comes into place. In that case, they could ask you, okay, why do you want to use Airtable, for example? Do you want to build some kind of CRM? Do you want to just use it as a database, or do you want to use it as a social media calendar? And according to your answers, they guide you towards the right path so that you don't spend a big amount of time to figure out how it works. But in your case, it's already very simple. It's just take a snap and that's it. And also these call to actions have to be visible all the time. So the upload a file is used for migrating existing files, but it's my guess, of course, only user testing can give us the right answer if it's true or not, is that if you just say upload the file manually, it's very clear, okay, I have also 10 screenshots that I want to upload. I'm just going to upload them manually. It's very straightforward.
Okay.
So in this case, the question that I wanted to ask you before is, why should I install the plugin, the browser extension?
Because, yeah, good question. Like you want to be able to take snaps as you find them, I guess. So as you're browsing the web, you'll find things that inspire you, and you want to like capture that for later. It's kind of like a bookmark, right? It's like the same reason you would want to bookmark a website. So you want to see that content later. But in this case, it's less of saving the URL, it's more saving the design or specific designs on a page. So that's kind of like the reason why. So make it really simple to add snaps or save designs as you browsing the web. That would be my answer. Does that make sense?
What I mean, I see where you're going, but the way that I would describe it would be, okay, let's rephrase it. What's the benefit of using the extension? The way that I see it is, first, save designs without opening the website, without, how could we say, without leaving from the website that you are, something like that. We can write better copy later from the website that you are. If you don't use the extension, you have to take a screenshot, open pandasnap, and upload it manually. Save designs at the speed of a click, for example. It could be a more catchy way, the speed of a click is a more catchy way to describe it, let's say.
Do you think if the users got to this point, they understand the product? Or do you think it's worth reiterating the kind of key value props again? Because they've like gone through the process of signing up, so surely they have some kind of
that's what I was thinking as well. I think you need to explain them again, because you cannot really take the bet. Okay, did they take the whole marketing website? Did they understand all the functionalities of the website? Because for me, pandasnap was just a tool to take screenshots. That's it. So I don't really care if I'm going to use the local screenshots Mac functionality, Mac OS functionality, or if I'm going to use the pandasnap extension. But in your case, you provide many types of snapping. So you have the whole page, you have a visible part, you have also source code, you have also recording. So I would actually communicate these exactly.
Okay.
So the benefits is take multiple different types of snaps, and then you have screenshot of specific area, visible page, full page, source code. Or let's leave the source code out for now. Let's write record interactions. For me, that's a killer feature, for example. That's something that I always miss. I was like, okay, it works for images, but we're talking about interactive design. I really want to record interactions, and there was no tool for that. So I think it's very important at this point to inform me that, hey, without the plugin, you only get 1% of the product, because you just use screenshots, and you also spend too much time to upload them.
Yeah, okay, good point. Sounds like. So maybe like, could you just do like a bullet point list or something? Like,
yeah, now the question
sorry,
is how we're gonna show this content. So at first we just take a note. Okay, these are the things that we want to communicate, and now we need to find a smart way to do it. Let's fix this copy because it's wrong. So we have two elements. The one is these two visually, is the call to action with these benefits. And the other one is the add a snap manually. How can we sell this? Yeah, actually it should be, what I have in mind is just having a checklist, like, let me show you the icon. it's a nice way to describe that, hey, these are some things that you can do. By the way, a really cool thing with Framer, you just have this component called icon. It's pre-made from the Framer team, and you have access to Feeder, which is plenty of open source SVG icons.
Cool.
So we can use, yeah, we're looking for the check mark. The check mark is a nice icon to use because it's like check that I have this, I have this, I have this. It's gives some kind of positive vibe. So we have check circle. No, just check. That's what we want. We can make it for now white and add it in a circle because icons look nice in containers as well. Small UI stuff. Now let's make it like that for now. The container here should be, let's make it a white and make the rest of the page a slight gray. This is nice for contrast because you create containers instead of having elements floating around in the screen. So how we could do it is.
So do you think that's something I should do on the site itself too? Give it some.
What's right?
Do you think adding that like little white frame should be, I should do on the site too?
What do you mean? I didn't get it.
So like this page on my website is just kind of like that light gray color without any kind of white container. Do you think it's worth doing the container as well?
We could, yeah. We can take the UI later for sure. Then we can say save screenshots of specific areas. What's the wording that you use in the product at this point?
I guess
snap
the word crop
element
would be.
And drag to crop the custom area. Save screenshots of custom
Crops, you could say.
crops. I don't think it's very clear. Save screenshots of custom areas of the screen. Let's use this one for now. Then save the full website page. Record and save interactions. Then the source code, let's add it. This one as well. Add this one as well. Is take snapshots, save snapshots of the source code. Is it HTML, CSS, and JavaScript too?
Yep.
Yeah, let's just say source code, and we can see if it's clear enough. Yeah, now we need to make the UI look proper. As you can see, yeah, the design is intentionally ugly because we only care about the content at this point. We don't really care about, okay, is the white space good enough and so on.
Mhm.
It doesn't really matter for now. Let's for now. Okay. And we can align the icons later as well. It doesn't matter now for the session. And what we have is let's click on these. Come on.
So
So
before you
without
mentioned,
them,
sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I was just going to say, like before you said you want to have like, or minimize the thought needed, I guess, for the user, right? Like you want it to be super clean and simple. Do you think adding extra copy and stuff makes it complicated? Or it's like, do you think necessary for the onboarding process?
You mean the fact that we add more copy if it makes it more complicated?
Yeah. Like, I guess my concern would be all the features are not necessarily maybe necessary. It's more like advanced use cases or premium use cases. So I'm just curious, like, what do you think? Do you think it's
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good question.
because like you could show the key concepts of why they should download the extension, and then they could discover the more advanced use cases later? Or
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. The truth is you get to know all this once you install the extension, right? Because once I install it, you can see my as you can see in my screen, I see all these options.
Mhm.
And then I figure out and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But my guess, and the reason I added this here, is installing the extension. You asked me, I'm now trying the product, so I'm not really sold into the idea that I'm gonna use pandasnap for sure or anything like that. So the thing is that I need to be convinced in order to install the extension, and that's how you can convince me, by showing me the reasons to install it. So that's the reasoning behind this decision to add this copy in the screen. I don't think it makes it more complicated because it shows the benefits. It's like, hey, you can do all these things. Install the extension.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Mm-hmm. What we could do here is to, on a UI level, we can have a heading here saying get started by installing the browser extension. And in order to know how to not have a duplicate install keyword, we can make it like that since it's in the heading. Chrome extension, Firefox extension. And what would be nice is the add a snap now makes sense to be a separate section. So this is the main thing. Hey, we want you to do this. And the add a snap now could be like already, for example, have do you already have screenshots or recordings saved locally? and then we can have a text call to action, upload them manually.
Yeah, cool.
And we can have it as smaller kind of section below this part. But it's nice to actually show them when you should upload something manually. Mm-hmm. That's the cool part of it. Okay, what else? And then this would make sense to have it also outside the container, maybe. Come on. Yeah, that's a temporary design that we have at this moment. But as you can see, it's compared to, yeah, whatever. Compared to the pandasnap website, the production version, it may be more complicated, but as a user as a first-time user, I'm more guided on what to do. Here it's simple, but it's not like this, yeah, as we said, this doesn't add any value. And here, I don't know what should I do and why should I, like what options to take and why as well. So here it makes it more clear that get started by installing the browser extension. These are the reasons. Maybe it's a bit too much. We can limit down the reasons that we saw, and then the call to actions. And this one is small. It's de-emphasized, but also provides better context that, hey, do you have something saved locally? Then you should upload it manually. So we guide the users more this way as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's nice that you're thinking about like why getting the screen to explain why you should do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
exactly because
I talked about before.
Yeah, exactly. Part of the onboarding is really to get value. It's good to remind them all the time that, hey, this is the value that you're gonna take. Just take the effort that it needs to reach the final step and get the value that you're looking for. So it makes sense to show it also in the empty state. I think for the first session, that's pretty much enough for the empty state. And in the next session, what we could do is actually, finalize the empty state and work on the extension screen as well. And what happens once you click the button. I think that would make sense.
Cool, sounds good.
Okay, that's cool. So I'm just gonna stop share. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. It's cool to do, that we did the first live stream session. I don't know if anybody joined. I'm gonna take a look later as well, but that's pretty, it was pretty cool. I'm gonna stop the live streaming now as well.